that and more. But we begin with a developing story this morning, and it's not good. Just hours before the NBA draft last night, Klay Thompson injured his right leg during a workout with several NBA players in LA. He will undergo an MRI this morning. Here's what General Manager Bob Myers said last night.
I don't know. We'll see. You can be hopeful, you can be concerned. Probably all those things combined. As far as I know, he's playing basketball, and I don't know who with. I think just playing basketball, probably like a lot of these guys are trying to get ready for the season.
Klay, of course, missed all of last year after the ACL injury he suffered in the finals the year before. Here are Tim Legler and Adrian Wojnarowski getting up with us early here today. Guys, thanks. Woj, what can you tell us? What do we know about this injury?
Greeny, lower right leg. There's certainly a significant amount of concern among the Warriors. I talked to his agent, Greg Lawrence, last night, and they're going to have that imaging this morning, West Coast time. You'll see some of the Warrior personnel, front office, medical staff coming down to be there, his agent there. And they're going to get a better sense of the severity of this injury. The torn ACL injury was on his left knee that caused him to miss all of last season. This is a right leg injury.
So it's not the same leg. That's not necessarily any indication of how severe it may or may not be, but just to sort of underline this for those who weren't following it last night, the vibe I was clearly getting from you and others covering the story was that the level of concern that this is something very serious is significant. We don't want to read too much into it, but am I getting that part of it right?
Yeah, there's a significant level of concern, but listen, could it be at best a strained calf? At worst, is it in the Achilles area? And so that's why they'll get in there today. They'll do the imaging and they'll find out for sure.
All right, so Tim Legler, let's sort of look at this from a bigger picture basketball perspective. If Klay were to miss significant time here, if this is a long-term injury, and again, we can all hope that it isn't, but what would that mean for the Warriors' championship window?
Well, my direct answer to that question would be I think it's still open, Greeny. I think, look, I'm less concerned about Klay Thompson potentially missing another year in terms of just guys getting a little bit older, Steph and Draymond both in their early 30s. I'm not as concerned about that. I'm more concerned about what is he going to be like coming back from now potentially another dreaded basketball injury. That's what you're concerned about. And now on each leg. So let's see what Klay Thompson looks like, a year from now, if that's how long he's out. And again, we're still waiting to hear the results of that. I still think the window is open, and the main reason is because when you look around the NBA, there is only one team right now that definitively you can say it looks like they're put together to win a title, and that's the Lakers. I think there are questions about virtually every other team in the NBA. So if this means that the Warriors getting back together is delayed a little bit longer, so be it. I still have enough belief in Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and if Klay eventually comes back, adding James Wiseman, I still think this team will be in the championship mix eventually.
Okay, so let's leave that there for the moment. Again, we do not know, and there's no reason to really speculate. We'll find out later today exactly what they know about the injury. You mentioned Wiseman. Let's get to the draft. NBA draft last night. And at number 1, the Minnesota Timberwolves, no surprise, took Anthony Edwards. He is the 5th SEC player drafted first overall since 2010, coming out of Georgia. The Warriors, as you mentioned, take James Wiseman, number 2. He played just 3 games in college, the second fewest of any top 5 pick out of college in the one-and-done era. And then LaMelo Ball, as basketball has taken him all over the world, and now he's headed to Charlotte to play for Michael Jordan. The Hornets make him the 3rd pick in last night's draft. So, Woj, let me come back to you. Wiseman, the Klay injury, the news of that started circulating like an hour and a half before the draft started last night. So how did the injury impact the Warriors' decision to take Wiseman at number 2?
Hey, Greeny, it didn't impact it. And they were making a decision with the Warriors between James Wiseman and LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball made a really strong impact on them. But this is a long-range decision, and especially that high up in the draft, you're picking the player that you think has the best upside to impact your franchise. They really liked James Wiseman. Now, certainly he fits a positional need for this team in the middle, but it's such a long-term view when you're picking, especially that high in the draft. It was not impacted by what had happened with Klay and the uncertainty surrounding his potential injury.
Let's talk about it. The kid is 7'1". Jay Billis said yesterday, 5 years ago, he would have been a lock to be the first pick in a draft. Tim Legler, how do you like the fit? What do you think he brings to Golden State?
Yeah, I love the fit, and I think the fact that they didn't really even flinch on taking Wiseman despite what they are fearing about Klay Thompson and thinking they maybe need more wing firepower. They didn't hesitate. They went with Wiseman because he fills an obvious need. And you look at all the role players that they've really had at the center position with this group during this championship run. He is significantly better than those guys. You're talking about a guy that not only can run and jump, protect the rim, all those things you're going to hear about. He's actually pretty capable in the low post, and he can make a mid-range jump shot. This is a very complete offensive player, and I'm picturing him in that motion offense with Golden State where there's so much attention paid to Steph Curry and on the perimeter and all of those gaps and seams that Wiseman is going to have available to him on slips and dives and on the offensive glass. This guy is going to be a showstopper at times. I think the Golden State Warriors did the right thing by filling a need for a big-time, potential franchise-type big man.
All right, we will have much more on the NBA as we continue. There was some more wheeling and dealing that we will get to. But I just want to say it because I know everybody watching is thinking it. That is a very festive backdrop you have there, Tim.